people come to us and say, "Can you do it?" And it's kind of like it's like Walt Disney. It's like, well, curiosity is it's what leads you down different paths. So like if you're curious about it, that's on the consultant side of things. We're kind of responsible for someone else's curiosity, or their imagination. You have to bring things to life.
Hello and welcome to Behind the Screens, IT at ND, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes of the IT solutions consultants at the University of Notre Dame.
Here, we explore the challenges they face, the innovative solutions they provide, and the tips and tricks that can help you make the most out of your technology. I'm Deanna, IT support technician with the service desk.
And I'm Scooter, Director of Information Technology for the College of Arts and Letters. We're thrilled to have you with us today. Our guest today is part of Enhanced Technology Partnerships, serving as an IT consultant for the Alumni Association. Please welcome Mark Schult. Hello, Mark.
Hello there. Hey, thanks for having me on.
Welcome. We're glad to have you. Before we start, could you tell us a little bit about your current role and the journey that brought you here? I know this is a relatively new position for you, so that's very exciting. But then tell us how long you've been at the university overall and when you moved in and
Gosh, I've wanted to be a part of the university since I was probably like 8 years old. As a kid, I've always, and it wasn't because of like football or sports or anything like that. I just always had an interest in the university as far as the mission and the things that happen on campus. I've always been interested in it. So when I started at the university, I think around, I must say I've been around like 8 years now. I think I started 2017 was when I started, and started out as a technician, and then did that for a while, and then an opportunity came up to travel. They were looking for somebody to travel abroad to go to London, and I decided to. I got chosen to go to London, and that was an eye-opening experience to see how IT would work in a international field with Notre Dame Global. And then a position came open there, and let's see, I did that for about 5 years, as supporting our international locations across the world, in London, Rome, Dublin, all of our locations that are everywhere, and supporting our staff. And then a position came open with Alumni, and I was just curious about it. Basically, to see what it would look like. We focus so much on students. What would it look like focusing? Once they're away from the university, what does that look like? How do we still engage folks that they're not there anymore? So I thought that was interesting. So yeah, I've been with the university 8 years now, and I've been in this role since March. I've not been in this role very long on campus, so I'm still learning a whole lot, still learning more about the organization. I tell everybody, I'm not drinking from a fire hose. It's like drinking from like a water fountain, so it's not as bad. So every day I'm learning from others, learning from other people, and it's been great so far.
That's so exciting that you got to work abroad for all the remote locations. Can you describe your current team, like around how many people are there and what kind of roles they have?
Yeah, sure. So let's see, let me make sure I get the number right. So there's myself, and then we have three. So there's like one, two, three, four. There's like five of us, and I'm the consultant, for the organization, and then we have others as far as managing we send out communication throughout the organization, throughout the alumni association. So we have someone that focuses on emails. We have somebody that focuses on. We have a help desk for the alumni that supports our MyND, and they make sure that we're constantly communicating, make sure there's no issues. We support our clubs and groups around our clubs and groups that are absolutely all over the world. It's not just the country; it's all over the world. We have like 42 different clubs all over the world. So we support them, and then we have somebody in the office that does a lot of our data analysis and works on those things. We have two people that focus on that. So there's around five of us, and it's been interesting. It's nice to be a part of a larger team, like that, like five people. So you can kind of like when someone needs help, you can kind of lean on each other, and we're there for each other to offer advice and things like that.
So with a small group like that, I know you mentioned that you got some folks doing data analysis and you're in the traditional consultant role, but I imagine there's some overlap. How do you divide up the work responsibilities in those gray areas?
Yeah, so I think it depends on what we're working on. I'll give you an example, Scooter. So we recently, class of 2025 graduated this year, and having to set up, over 2,000 alumni accounts. So haven't set up, yeah. So we had 2,000 accounts to set up. Camille, he's on our team, and he actually went through and got the information from. We sent out a Qualtrics form to students. They fill it out. Camille gathers the information for me. So it was an opportunity for him and I to collaborate on that. So and again, this is the first time I've gone through the process of setting up these accounts. So I had to lean on him a little bit and look at some of the look at some of the steps that my predecessor did, who took great notes, and then sat down and actually did it. And then we did them in like batches. So I did the first batch, and we had students do it up until, like, I think it was after uh, right after graduation. So we did like 3 or 4 batches of it, and so there was some feedback I give to Camille. I was like, hey, next time make sure like there's no duplicates in there. Keep an eye on those things. Make sure there's a lot more cleaner data that's been given to me to upload that information. So it went better. We did our last batch last week, so that's completed and done and over with now for the class of 2025. So yeah, that's just one example. I mean, we just divvy up the work. We're all a team player, team players, and we're all there to support each other. So.
Okay, Mark, so you mentioned it's 5 of you in your team, and you, aside from supporting all the alumni Gmail accounts and doing that work, you also support the 40 Alumni Association staff and all of Notre Dame's 160,000 alumni.
Small
And
number, small number.
yeah, small number. And last episode, Andrew was talking about, all these things that are done for the alumni and just how extensive that work is. So, how does your 5-person team kind of handle that load, and what's that dynamic like?
So I think we're not alone, right? And I mean, there's 5 of us, but like you mentioned, there's 40 of us as well. So like being able to understand I think the biggest thing for us is collaboration. That's the key word. Is we're not all siloed. We're not all by ourselves. And in this in within the organization, we have our Marcom team. We have our Faith and D team. We have lots of teams within the alumni association. So we all work cohesively together as far as like taking on tasks. So yeah, I mean that's the best way I can put it, is like collaboration and working together. So.
Excellent. So, as you know, Mark, part of the sort of mission of this broadcast is we're trying to figure out what IT consultancy is on campus, because we know in different areas it means a lot of different things. So, in the alumni area, what does IT consultancy mean to you?
Well, I think it means, I go back to I'm just going to go pull it up. I always go back to our mission statement, and it's kind of like the elevator speech that I tell everybody. It's like it's not just doing one thing. We're doing several things at once. So our mission. I'll just read it. It's like our mission as a consultant is to be a trusted collaborator for our partner areas. We serve our partner areas by providing innovative, creative, and best in class technology solutions to advance strategic goals and objectives. So when I look back at the mission when we did the project last year, the IT consultancy project with the team, I mean that's pretty much it. I mean every day we're looking at trying to make things better for our groups that we support. Um, so we want to collaborate, we want to be creative, we want to align with the goals of the organization. We want to align with, so if there's like OKRs for the alumni association, there's yearly goals that we want to work on. We want to see how do we fit into that? How can we best serve them and find like strategic solutions and needs to help them out? So
Can you walk us through what a typical day in your role looks like?
a lot of the things I do now it's very, very similar to when I supported Notre Dame Global. It's so I think what stands out is having to support more events. We have a lot of events that happen throughout the year. We just finished reunion in a reunion event in May. We have a legacy reception that we support for new alumni. And if alumni has like a parent or a family member, so we have like a little event to celebrate them as far as becoming alumni in the group. Uh, the big one that happens in the fall is Football Fridays. We have every Friday we welcome like alumni, and we also welcome friends of friends and alumni of the university. So so yeah. Yeah, those are the big those are like the I would say like I do my normal day-to-day job, supporting, making sure like things are up and running, and making sure like, side projects, other event, and if there's an event happening, which seems like there's always something happening within the organization. So
And since you just started a few months ago, you haven't witnessed a Football Friday firsthand from your seat. Is that correct?
no, I think I actually before I joined, I actually went over there and like sat in and kind of like as a guest, I actually went over there and like witnessed what all the people that show up there.
Okay.
So
And they didn't scare you
yeah,
off? That's great.
did not scare me off. Yeah, there's a lot that that um there's a lot there's a lot of people obviously, and did not scare me off. No, it seems like a lot of fun. It also seems like a ton of work to make that happen. Like and it's just a lot of our events. It's collaborating with each other and putting our best foot forward to our alumni and our friends that are taken care of. So yeah, it's looking forward. I've already started working on it. What we're for the upcoming, we've already started. The wheels are in motion to make the next season go pretty well for Football Friday.
Excellent. So does
Yeah.
Alumni have any key tools or technologies that it uses, things that you support that may be different from others across the university?
Yeah, I'd say the big one is the My Notre Dame, where alumni are. It's its own little area where alumni can reach out to each other, and but it's not just alumni too. I want to make sure I note this as well. So when you think about the alumni association, it's alumni obviously, but it's also friends. So anybody that is we welcome everyone. Everyone that is a friend of the university, that loves Notre Dame, that loves the university. It's not just the alumni. So. Um, Let me think here. So it'd be My Notre Dame would be one. Faith and D, we send out the daily. There's people that we have alumni that sign up to receive daily gospel, and we send that to they receive it daily. And then we have Notre Dame Compass for alumni that want to pursue Notre Dame Compass is for those that want to pursue um, like different like professional development, or like it's continuous learning after being at the university. So those are like three great examples. I'd say it's the My ND we support, it's the Faith ND, and then it's the Compass ND, Notre Dame Compass. So
And then I think you mentioned when we spoke before that Alumni has its own Google domain.
yeah, we do. We have our own Google Workspace. Yeah, that's separate. Yeah, it's a
That's
lot.
a lot of management right there, right? I mean,
Yeah. There's a lot of accounts. There's a lot of information in there. It's being in this role is my first taste of seeing it, and hoping to. That's pretty much one of my big goals is for this year is to really dive into how do we make it better? Continue to organize it a little bit better so that we have what we need. But yeah, it's a lot different. It's yeah, as far as I've never created a Google account before. So up until May, I've never actually gone in and had to create a bulk list. So kind of like, I use information my predecessor had sent me, and so it really stands out as yeah, it's a separate, so it's interesting.
So, with all the people you support, and you mentioned there's an alumni help desk as well, how do you do you guys have a ticketing system, or how do you make use of the service desk at Notre Dame?
Yeah, so we encourage so for the 40 staff that we have, we encourage them to always, the best way to get help and to get support is to contact the OIT help desk. Um, so that's number one. And then for alumni, if they're using the separate system, it's the My Notre Dame. For special projects that come in, if somebody needs um, they need like a customer care request. We use Rike as it's like a project management tool. So we kind of keep the basic break fixes that come up. We keep those things separate. So contacting the help desk, and then for alumni, having them contact the my Notre Dame.
So are there, I would imagine that especially with the number of alumni and non-Notre Dame folks that you're supporting, you probably have some pretty unique issues that you support. Can you give us a couple, one or two examples of unique things that are going on in alumni?
Yeah, I would say, like, our events are huge, right? We welcomed over 3,000 former alumni to to back to campus. Class of any class that ended in a 5 or a 0 were on campus. We invited them, so we had 3,000 guests. So there's a lot of work that goes into that from the organization. We as far as like putting on events, housing, and housing, and then refreshment hub, and keeping everybody engaged for it's, I think it runs from Thursday all the way to Sunday. So for 4 days, keeping 3,000 alumni engaged, and then on top of that, the technology that goes into making those things happen and making it successful. So I would say, like, the big one was the refreshment hub that we did. We had a point of sale for folks that did not purchase like a ticket. So that was pretty important. And the challenge we had in that was the area where they had the refreshment hub didn't have EduRoam, so we had to use a MiFi. We had to use a hotspot to make sure everybody could stay connected. And then and then, like, as far as, like, fun things, we had, someone within the Marcom team had the suggestion of doing, like, a roaming photo booth. And I'll be honest with you, Scooter, I've never seen a roaming photo booth in my life.
Roaming photo booth. I mean,
Roaming
I've been at
photo
events
booth.
where you could go somewhere and get your picture taken
Yeah.
and very elaborate
Yeah.
backgrounds and all that. How do you do a roaming photo booth?
So roaming photo booth is where you have like a ring light, and you wear it over you, and like there's an iPad in the middle and a little camera. And so I know it sounds really silly. I have never seen one before. And they said they wanted this. I'm like, okay, let's do some research. I'm like, okay, here are your choices. Here's how much the cost is. Is this something you guys want to do? I'm like, yeah, we totally want to do this. I'm like,
Are
okay.
you like wearing a green screen behind you too? I mean,
No,
is that
you're wearing a ring light. It's like a
okay?
harness that goes over you,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
And then in the middle is an iPad, right? So it runs the software. And then somebody comes up and says, "Hey, I want a picture." And then, like, the person taps the screen, we tap the picture, and that's kind of how it gets taken. That's how the picture gets taken. So yeah, it's hilarious because we have a normal photo booth that we use. And for other events, we have like a 360 camera where the people stand in the middle, camera goes around. I think you may have seen those before. But the roaming one was, and so the challenge with the roaming photo booth was, and I didn't think about this until after we got it, was like, okay, so we're going to be using this in the refreshment hub. There's no internet out there. EduRoam is sparse. How are we going to make sure this works? So I was like, okay, so here's another MiFi. So we had, like, the refreshment had two MiFis for point of sale, right? And so, like, the person was going to have to carry a MiFi on them if they're going to use this at all times. Had to put it in their pocket, so it was another thing to carry. And then you got, like, and I told them, like, well, if you're going to do this, we make sure we have batteries. So we bought extra batteries and we used it, and it worked out pretty well. It was, we got a lot of cool pictures from in the hub. And we used the 360 camera it was used at various events. We used it for the 50th 50-year alumni. We actually used it for that event. That's 360 cameras. That we used it for the all alumni dinner that was used there. So yeah, roaming photo booth. Never thought I would have to touch something like that in my life. But that's what comes with the role, like with being a consultant, is that people come to us and say, "Can you do it?" And it's kind of like it's like Walt Disney. It's like, well, curiosity is what leads you down different paths. So, like, if you're curious about it, that's on the consultant side of things. We're kind of responsible for someone else's curiosity, or their imagination. You have to bring things to life. So I had never seen one before. I'm like, okay, well, here's what it's gonna look like, and here's how we'll do it. So, but yeah, so going back to your question, that's just one way. That's just one unique event that comes up as a part of this role. And it's exciting. It gets you. Supporting events is not something I really got myself into before. And it's kind of fun. I had a lot of fun doing reunion. they pretty much had to kick me out of there. They had to kick me out because I had a lot of fun. That's like we worked like 13, 12-hour days. And for a lot of people, like I think my previous was, and when you work globally, it's like, it's you when you work in, you're working in London and you're working in Rome, it's go, go, go all the time. And you're working long hours. And I had already done that before. So like, I was like, well, this is nothing. Like you're asking me to work 13-hour day. Like when I was in London or Rome, yeah, I would work a 13-hour day. So I'm used to that. So yeah, so the event support, it's a blast. And working, I've gotten to know a lot of the people within the organization. We have an amazing group of group people within the Alumni Association. They're awesome. So it makes your job a little easier when you can when you're having fun with others, and then it's good relationship building as well.
That's really awesome. I could just hear the excitement, just oozing out of all of your
Yeah,
pores. It's really cool.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, it's fun.
So if someone was going to shadow you for a day, other than the roaming photo booth, what would surprise them the most?
I would say what would surprise them is the my dedication to project management. Some folks, there's a lot to goes into managing projects, and so like if you were to look at one, and every consultant is different. I mean, we have consultants all over campus, and every consultant is unique. I mean, you guys have talked to a lot of consultants around campus. Every one of us is supporting different groups, different expectations, different managers, different relationships. It's all different. So I would say in my role, I get exposed to I would and this is just my opinion, this is just me speaking out, but like I feel like I get more exposed to the projects that we work on. Um so typing up a charter, and then leading meetings, and then you know executing, following through, and then closing. So I would say like the project management portion is like you'd be surprised at like the amount of projects that even small ones, and the big ones as well, right, that we do every day. So I love project, we'll probably get into that a little bit, but like as far as like the project management side of things, I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the collaboration. So, and I would say that probably be the second thing is then the amount of collaborations that we have to do. You have to be willing, and that's another thing with too, like working at Notre Dame, and as far as IT consulting is concerned, you have to love people. You have to love the people that are around you, and if you don't, this isn't the role for you. It's not going to work out. You have to love people, and it's not just the love of technology. You have the love of being a fellow collaborator. So.
Yeah, so on the topic of project management, you're not only a consultant, you're also a project manager. Can you tell us a little more about your journey toward being a project manager and how that came about?
Yeah, so I developed a so we were working on goals one year, and like I kind of was looking at others, trying to find, it's all the big question of like, what do you want to do when you grow up, right? We all try to figure out what we want to work on, what are we interested in, and I had like a little bit of an interest in it, so I kind of explored it. It's like it's again going down the rabbit hole of curiosity. Like you never know where it will take you unless you do it. You just have no idea. So I got interested in it. I talked to my manager, Corey Klimek, at the time, told her I was interested in it, and I did some research and looked into the PMI Institute, Project Management Institute, and I looked into a certification. And I knew I didn't have like everything that they needed, but like to take the CAPM exam is one, which is a Certified Associate in Project Management. So I figured, I could take a course and kind of develop that, and start developing those things, and see if I enjoy it, see if I like it. So I took the CAPM exam. I didn't pass it the first time. It's a really Their tests are very, very hard, and so I took it the second time, passed it, and then once I took the exam, I started working on things that like I started thinking like, what's next for me? What's the next step up? So the next one was the PMP exam, and that exam is notorious. We have a lot of OITers. We have a lot of folks all over the university that have taken that exam.
That's a
It's a
big one, I
hard
understand. Yeah. I know people prep for weeks or months or, yeah, for a long time for it.
That's a hard test, and I said so what I did was is like I started working on, qualifying to take the exam. So I started finding so Corey was instrumental in finding ways to get me involved in other projects on campus, other projects within Notre Dame Global, and started working on that. Started and once I had the hours, her and I sat down. Like I said, I think I have the hours now to actually, and I have the experience to take the exam. I'm going to go do it. So I applied to take the exam. I spent probably 3 months just all my free time was involved. The majority of my free time when I wasn't at work was um, working on taking the exam, and it was it was a really hard test. Passed it. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was a really
Kudos,
it was a
man.
really yeah, it was a really hard test. I tell you what, I came out of that exam shaking like this. Like
Right?
I didn't leave the parking lot for an hour. I kid you not, and I kid you not, because it's the exam is 3 hours. I think it's 100, if I remember correctly, 160 questions. The way they break it up, and you really got to be on your A game. You really have to know, and it's all situational things. You can't just read it in a book. You have to really prepare. It's a hard test. I felt like I had gone through. I felt like that test had scraped my brain. It was just very very difficult. So yeah, took the exam, passed it, and so like now trying to work on projects now. I enjoy it. I enjoy like working with others. I enjoy like leading meetings. I enjoy like writing up a charter, figuring out the scope, the schedule, the cost, all those things. I love it. I enjoy it. So I've been allowed to work in different projects on campus, and it's been great. So that's how I got involved in it. It was like it was like a little spark. It's like you just never know until you jump in where all those things will lead.
I mean, that's very demanding on top of the work that you're doing. I mean, that's a very demanding
Yeah.
line to start to move towards. So again,
Yeah, thank
kudos
you.
on getting the CAPM and the PMB. Um, but so we understand from conversation you've had with us that you're pretty involved with PMI, the local group here, the PMI Michiana. Could you tell us a little bit about your involvement there?
Yeah, so one of the things what I wanted to do after going through this whole experience of getting both those certifications was I wanted to try and find a way to give back. That's on my end of things. It's like anytime I have like a great experience, I always try to give back anytime I can. So I signed up to be like a mentor, a mentor mentee program. And when I first got before I took the CAPM, I just I attended a couple of meetings, before I got the CAPM as I was still learning, trying to figure out project management. I actually was a mentee in the program, and I had a mentor, and he was instrumental in like helping me out, kind of figure out like what would it look like to become, to be a project manager. What would it take to do those things? So then once I got the certifications, I thought to myself, well, how do I pay that forward? How do I like what are some things I could do? It's like, oh, well, maybe I can be a mentor to somebody and help someone else out. So I have a mentee that I work with. I see them. I probably not as much recently, but we usually try to meet every 2 weeks or whatnot. We sit down and we go through like what are her goals? Like, well, it's like she doesn't have her PMP. Like, how do I get there? Like, what are some things? And she's an acting project manager in her field. So like she'll bring projects to me, and then like I'll bring projects to her that I've worked on. Like, hey, let's talk about them. Like, here, let's talk about like the PMI model and how that would relate to you, and kind of helping each other out, and then kind of sharing my experiences with her. And then on top of it, like, okay, like here's how you get certified. Here's how you become PMP certified. Here's how you get your CAPM. So
It's
yeah,
got to be,
that's how that and yeah, it's
as I
great.
say, it's got to be a great experience, because yeah, I mean, giving back is an important part of I think what we all do, and we all strive to be able to contribute back to the field or back to an individual or some way. So again, kudos to you for taking that on and doing that
Yeah.
so directly. So I know one recent significant project that you've been part of is here on campus is the Defining Consultancy project. And as we've said, this podcast is one of those outcomes about trying to find out what what the consultants all do on campus. So I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about the project. What were its goals? How did you serve? Who else was with you? Give us some of those details.
Yeah, so this was a tough project. And here's why I'll tell you that. It was, first off, anytime you're doing something that's never been done before, it's going to be tough, right? I think you would say that about every project, because normally projects start as an idea, and they have like projects have a beginning and an end, and trying to figure out like you just said, like what does it mean to be a consultant? So we you know getting everybody in the room together, putting a team together. And then, like I mentioned earlier, every consultant is doing different work. And one of the biggest tasks that I asked everyone to do was, it's like, okay, what is it? Tell me about like what is like the question you just asked me is like, what does consultancy mean in you to you? What does that mean? And then on top of that, tell us, what do you do? The work that you do every day, what does that look like? And so when we sat down and did that, when I tasked the team of doing that, they I noticed that like when people just talked out when they were talking out loud, there's a lot of different uh I would say a lot of like everybody said like we're doing a there's a lot of like different things, like a lot of differences between all of us. But when we sat down and put it on paper, I was amazed to find out like, oh, if I if I if I look through like six or seven different of the of different of these of if I look through like these six or seven different things, um there's some similarities in there, and that's what we started to focus on was like what are some things that we're doing that are similar that really stand out. So that was I think so once I got the team to stop thinking about like differences, start focusing on like, okay, let's what are some things that we're doing similar, and then we came up with the mission. We started we came up with like the competencies of what does it mean to be a consultant. So we all agreed on those, and then like trying to figure out like, okay, if I'm a consultant, how do if I'm like, let's say I'm a technician, or I'm in a different field altogether, like project management, right? I'm not a project manager. I'm interested in being an IT consultant. What is that? How do I do that? And so sitting down and going through HR information and kind of putting those things together, looking at the skills and the tools that are again like there's all of us are doing different roles, but what are some of the key similarities between the skills and tools that we actually use? So that was the pretty much the project. It was really, I think it was the rewarding thing for me was I enjoy collaborating with others and sharing. I care a lot about consultancy and getting everybody on the same page. I really enjoyed doing that. That was a lot. It was a fun. It was really really hard work. Because again, we all like have different opinions of things, but when we took those opinions out and really dove into the similarities, that's where we succeeded.
That's really cool because I know from not quite the outside looking in. I mean, I've got consultants on my team, and I know they were actively involved in this. So I'm not wholly an outsider, but I certainly wasn't involved in the core of the project. But from my point of view, it seems like I don't know. On some days that you could be herding cats, just because first there are so many
Yeah,
consultants on campus, and like you say, just the variety of different tasks and the variety of different roles that they all play. It just seemed like I looked at that and thought, oh, I'm glad somebody else is managing this project. But it seems like you've
yeah,
come out,
yeah.
you've really teased out a lot of really good information, and by your focus on those similarities, I think we've really picked up a lot of things to move forward with, and I think that's a big credit to you and to that team that worked with you.
Yeah, and I would say as a result of it, the community of practice, I think that's been the big one that's come out of this, getting everybody again, like getting everybody together to kind of like learn. There's a lot of opportunities, so how we can learn from each other. And one person could be doing something different, and like again, finding those similarities and like being able to help each other out and learn from each other has been great.
And you just mentioned the IT consultancy community of practice. Can you tell us a little bit more about this? Like, what should our listeners know about it? What is it and who can join? All of that stuff.
So it's for everyone. I would start by saying it's for anyone that's interested in becoming an IT consultant, and even if you're not in, I would say even if you're not interested in becoming a consultant, it's a good way to like learn more, like kind of like how this podcast is. You guys are doing a deep dive into everyone's work. So like if you're interested in learning um, more about like the day to day of a consultant, or like if you're looking into learning more about there's always new things happening on campus. Like for example, our next community of practice meeting is focusing on asset management. So that's gonna be a big change for the way that we have asset management now, but like being able to learn from each other, like everybody manages their assets differently, and so it's the meeting is going to be learning that, and then like the upcoming projects related to asset management. So I would say like yeah, it's a great group of the planning group has been great, and then we've had a great turnout in the last couple of meetings that we've had. We had one where we focused on Google. We talked about Notre Dame's own Google Workspace. We talked about that. Um, yeah, we talked about a lot of different subjects. So it's just anyone that's interested in learning more about what the role is and how we do it, and trying to keep, one thing about this role is, it's constantly changing, based on what's happening on campus. So it's
Mhm.
for everyone. Yeah.
Nice. And asset management is definitely a big topic. When is that next meeting?
So our next meeting is July 31st. And we plan on having uh, another group of, I think Ryan Palmer is coming. I don't have the list in front of me,
Mhm.
but like Ryan's coming, folks that are Chris Gillis, folks that are a part of the project team, and they're getting ready to kick off the program. It's as far as like, hardware asset management, software management. So they're getting ready to kick off. They're doing a lot of discovery right now, what
Mhm.
those things would look like. And then yeah, that's July 31st.
And I'm
And is this a Zoom meeting?
So it's over in ITC 226,
Okay.
and it's also
Nice.
on Zoom as well. Yeah.
and
Okay.
it's at what
Cool.
time?
I think it's, well,
Looks
I'll tell
like
you right now. It
I'm seeing it
is
here on my own
it's
calendar. I'm cheating. It looks like 1 p.m.
Yeah, 1 p.m. ITC
on Thursday, July
226.
31st. All right, be there, be
Yeah,
square,
yeah.
right?
You can make it
Mhm.
if you can make it in person, that would be fantastic. If not, that's okay too. So
So, Mark, you alluded earlier to sort of an elevator pitch sort of thing, and then you read us the mission of the consultants. So, without reading the mission of the consultants to us, if you were trying to recruit somebody in to be a consultant with you, sort of what's your elevator pitch about consultancy?
Gosh, it's always hard. I'm terrible at elevator speeches. That's why I don't take the elevator. I don't take the elevator. I take the stairs. Right? Forget the elevator. Right? But if I'm walking and talking with somebody, going for a walk around the lake, I would say it's an opportunity to provide, technology support and solutions, and to collaborate with our end users. It's a great way to accomplish our objectives and goals. It's that's how and that's what consultancy means to me. It's at the end of the day, it's technicians. Here's how I see things. It's like an IT like technician. They work on a task and they walk away. They work on a task and they walk away. But a consultant is constantly working with the end user to accomplish their goals, to accomplish their objectives. So I'd say part of the elevator speech is it's collaborating, it's working with others on campus, it's working with others to accomplish their goals and objectives. And that's pretty much that's what it means to me. It's like without the collaboration, you're not doing anything. The consultant is sitting in a cubicle, just twiddling their thumbs. That's it. And like we can make up things, but it's that collaboration that I think it's being strategic and being a collaborator. That's where the magic happens as far as being a consultant. If you're not doing those things, then again, you're a technician. You're doing these one-offs, and you're not really building a relationship with that person. So does that sound about that? I think that's probably a better speech I would give. And then yeah, so it all comes down to being collaborative, being strategic, and then you have to be and then being creative in the way we do things. So
Yeah. I love that distinction you made and how technicians jump from one to the other. I definitely feel that my attention span has just drastically decreased. So it's
yeah,
nice to know you can like stick to things.
yep.
Um, so aside from being, an alumni consultant and project manager
Because
guru,
that's not nearly enough
we,
all by itself, right?
yeah. We also know that you have quite a passion for, oh gosh, is it Galaga?
It's Galaga, Galaga.
Galaga. Ah,
You're
darn it. And I
close. You're
asked you
close.
before. Okay.
No, it's okay. It's all
Galaga.
good. Yeah, it's all good.
Can you talk a little bit more about that and your accomplishments with that?
Yeah, so I would consider myself very, very interested in like classic gaming. And so one of my favorite video games, I'd say it's probably number one, is Galaga. It's Galaga. For those of you listening and watching that don't know what Galaga is, it's an old game from 1981 released by Namco. It was an old coin up arcade video game that was released back in the 80s, and it's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite games. Back in 2018, I was invited to play in the Galaga World Championship out in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I just like project management. I had to work for it. I had to I had to study, and so it's just like and gaming is the same way with Galaga. I really had to learn. I had an interest in it, and I really enjoyed over the years. I'd play once in a while, and when they announced this tournament, I looked at they announced it like I think it was the day after Christmas. They announced that they were doing this place called Meow Wolf. Never heard about Meow Wolf before. It's an art collective out in Santa Fe, and they announced that they're putting this together. And I looked at my wife. I was like, I kind of want to be a part of that. It'd be kind of fun and be kind of like, but I told her, I'm like, man, my scores are nowhere near. I would not, but like, boy, that would be so cool to be a part of. So like, but I'm gonna go for it. So from January all the way to like March, I would say I was at the Galloping Ghost Arcade out in Chicago. It's an arcade. It's the world's largest arcade. And I said I'm gonna go out there and do it. I'm gonna try my best and play every day and play at home. And like so my scores started going from like 100,000 to 200,000 to 500,000 to 700,000, and then the day I hit 1,000,000 points at home, I was like, wow, I'm getting really good at this. And I would watch strategies online and kind of pick up tips and tricks. I'm like, wow, I am really good at this game. This is really fun. And then and so once I hit over 1,000,000 points, I thought myself, wow, I think I might have a chance at qualifying for this thing. So I went to the Galloping Ghost, and they were very, very supportive. We did, they, all. So basically, the way it worked is all your attempts had to be done they had to be done in person. They had to be streamed online. And so I went, and there had to be a video on your hands, had to be a video on the gameplay, and so I started getting better and better at it, and I would say my attempts really picked up in I want to say they really picked up in like February is where they really picked up. Going I went to work every day, and I would leave work, go to Chicago, stay until 10 o'clock. Make now I only live like an hour and a half from the arcade. From it's the arcade is over. It's not in Chicago. It's over in Brookfield, Illinois. So it's not a terrible drive. So it's like an hour. It's like an hour and a half from here. So every day I would go, and I would try to get my score. And finally, my score was the deadline was March 1st. I hit the deadline. So they flew me out. I got to make some amazing friends, and they treat us like royalty for like 4 days. It was just amazing. It was one of my. I remember as a kid watching the movie The Wizard with Fred Savage, where they play in this big tournament, and that for me, I felt like Fred Savage a little bit here. I'm like I had these moments where I pinched myself, like I am never going to be a part of something like this ever again. This is amazing, and I had fun. I had my and I had somebody from campus come with me. I have Nick Maneri he's from the academic support for student athletes. He's a student counselor over there. He came with me, and he wanted to come and write a story about me. So he wrote a story, did a story on me and my journey to play in the tournament. And so I had somebody from home, so that was kind of nice to come with me, and it was really cool. And then in 2020, I got this. I continued, continued playing, and I got the single ship world record. I had the world record.
Wow.
I had a world record for 9 months. Yeah, I had a net world record, and like I wasn't planning on doing anything like that, but I had the single ship world record and the single ship means where you have like the double ships at the bottom. If you play the game, you can like double up, but the single ship is you're a smaller target, and you're not allowed to double up on the play field. It's a really tough way of playing the game. So I had the world record for 9 months, and somebody beat it, and like, who cares? Records are meant to be broken. They're not meant to stay. So yeah, I actually have a Galaga cabinet here at home. I have a full size cabinet at home, and and then arcade gaming has just it's been in my blood since I was a little kid. So
So I have to ask. So I mean, did you get the cabinet for home while you were training for this, or how? Or the other
So
question was sort
yes,
of, how many
yeah.
quarters did you burn through in Chicago trying to?
Well, here's the thing. So the nice thing about the arcade in Chicago is you pay one price. It's $20 and everything is set to the entire arcade is set to free play.
Whoa!
Everything. So they have so not only do they have Galaga, they have like over 1,000 arcade cabinets in a it's the building takes up a block. They've pretty much taken over. It's a huge building, 1,000 machines. Everything is it's $20. You can come and go. You can go and get lunch and come back. So but I became friends with his name is Doc Mack. He's the owner of the arcade, and him and I became friends. And they were so supportive. They didn't charge me anything to come play. They didn't have to do that. They understood my passion for the game. They really wanted me to see. They wanted to see me play in the tournament. So they didn't charge. They were so gracious. They didn't charge me at all. And jokingly one day I told Doc, I said, if I had one of these at home, I wouldn't come to your arcade anymore if I had one at home. And he looked at me and point blank said, Mark, he's like, I actually have an arcade. I have a Galaga. I'll just give you. I'll give you one. I have one sitting in the back. You can have it. I was like, shut up. And he's like, yeah, it's yours, man. It's like it's
Wow!
all yours. So yeah, so he gifted me an arcade cabinet, gifted me a Galaga arcade cabinet, and I was so grateful to get something like that. Now I've had to work on it a few. And just these machines again are over 40 years old. I've had issues with it. I've had to self teach my thing. Again, like anything else, I've had to like teach myself something like project management or other things that happen in my role. I had to teach myself how to fix one of these machines, and so it's had issues over the years, and I fixed it, and things work. So but yeah, to answer your question, yeah, they were so great. Doc was amazing. The entire staff was fantastic. They didn't charge me anything to come play, and I'm so thankful for them and the experience I had. It was just I had never been to Santa Fe, New Mexico before. Never been out west that far out west before, and it was just we the tournament was over a 4-day period over an Easter weekend, and I had a moment where I actually had one of the highest scores ever. I had like one of my personal. I actually did a personal best, and it was so cool. I had like the whole room watching me play, and it was just I had this moment where it was just me playing, and the
Oh,
entire room got quiet. It just got quiet, and I could hear mumbling behind me, and I think my high score is over 6 million points now, but I had gotten like 2 to 3 million at the time. I have never done more than 2 million points before, and like I started like I was in the zone, and once I finished, once the last ship had gone off, everybody behind me clapped. I jumped into Phil Day from Australia. I jumped into his arms. I had this moment where I was like, "Oh my god, I did it!" And can you believe this is crazy? And he just laughed at me, and everybody like high fives, the hooting and the hollering. It was so rewarding. It was so rewarding to actually, to see something through to the end. Um, it was really cool. It was really inspiring.
well,
So
I'm hearing that we need an IT at Indy field trip over to Chicago now, and we can
we
all
should,
watch
we
you
should, you
play
should come to it.
and
Yeah,
sort of relive those days.
yeah,
Now, I understand that you've continued on, and now that you got this world champion, this high score behind you, that you've been able to actually use that to help raise money for charity. How are you doing that, and who are you doing it for?
yeah. So again, it's another one of those situations where, like I mentioned earlier, it's like paying it forward. Like, how do I give back? Like, I've had this great experience. What would it look like if I could give back to an organization? So I found Riley's Children's Hospital. In 2020, I started doing these little events where I would like during the pandemic. I was like, well, what would it look like to like raise money for them? Like, how would I do it? So I put together like an event. I called it Galagathon originally. It was like Galagathon where like when we were all in lockdown mode, like okay, how do I get all my friends together? Maybe I could like interview my friends over Zoom, and then like some gameplay in the background, and then like have like a miniature tournament over Zoom, and so since 2020, I think I've raised over $2,000 for Riley's. I really care. It's a cause that's near and dear to my heart. My kids have never had to. I've been lucky, but I know friends and family that when they need help with when kids need like medical care and they need medical help, they go down to Indianapolis. They seek out Riley for help. So it's not just the kids; it's supporting families as well. So this year I'm doing. I called it it's Galaga Flight School. It's kind of like with taking Galaga and the 1980s movie Top Gun, putting Top Gun and Galaga together. So yeah, the event is August 9th. It's at Full Tilt Arcade in LaPorte, Indiana, and it's a day long event. So it's not just what really sets this event apart from other events is normally it's just your high score. Whoever gets the high score wins. But but the in the essence of like Top Gun, like there are other variables that go into Galaga as far as like it's not just your score. And when you finish a game, it shows your hit miss ratio, like how good of a shot you were. And then I thought, well, what will it look like how many stages? So it's like every stage in Galaga, there's like levels, they call them stages. So I've been working on like using AI a little bit to come up like a formula. I'm like, give me like the score, the hit miss ratio, and how many stages somebody completes. And trying to find like who's the best pilot, right? Like Maverick and Iceman were like the top pilots. Like how do we find like the top Galaga pilot? What would that look like? So the tournament is, like I said, it's August 9th at Full Tilt Arcade in LaPorte, Indiana, and entry is like it's like $10 to enter, and the arcade is matching donations, which is fantastic. They're matching donations, yeah, matching donations. A lot of my friends are going to be there. I've invited everyone's anyone listening to this is more than welcome to come. I have a link that I've been using for donations. And the prize is I've trying to come up with okay, what are some cool prizes? People we gotta have a prize at the end of this thing. So Dan White, he's one of the frequent players at the arcade. He created like a 3D Galaga fighter ship. It's in the shape of it looks really cool. And then I created this so a trophy we have, and then like dog tags. Like I thought, what would it look like we did like dog tags, like custom dog tags. So I just got them. They just came in the mail over the weekend, so I have dog tags now that say like they say the name of the event, and there's like two quotes from Top Gun from the movie on there. So we're gonna have like a kids division and an adult division. So far, and then also I'm also my biggest goal for like I would say like my biggest goal with the Galaga is to try to get to 10 million points. I want to see 10 million points. My highest score ever is it's like 6.5, 6.3 million, something around there. And I really want to get 10 million points. So what I've been doing,
You hear that casual something around there? I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it's so high in the stratosphere, nobody else can even come close.
I just want to see the extra digit on the screen. I think it'd be so cool to see. And I have friends that are really good at the games that they've done it, and I just want to see it for myself. I want to get 10 million points. Now that's a 6 hour game on one credit. It's a long game to do. This isn't like a typical video game where you can pause it and walk away. I mean, it's a 6 hour game, 7 hour game. So trying to so what I've been doing since January is like when I play Galaga, when I go to the arcade, I stream, and then like I have my donation page up. So far I think I've raised like $300, like $300 so far. But so after this event is over, we're still gonna have me going after this goal, and we're still raising money. So yeah,
Wow. That's awesome. I mean, that you turned a passion into something you can pay forward, and it's so nice to hear how passionate you are about it.
thank
Thanks for
you, thank
sharing
you,
that.
thank you.
Okay, it's time for Consultant Quirks, where we ask our guests a few fun rapid fire questions. First off, what book would you recommend everyone read and why?
Okay, so the book I would recommend is, again, this is classic gaming. So there's a book called Once Upon Atari, written by Howard Scott Warshaw. Howard was a programmer he was a programmer at Atari. He is known for making we worked on three games, but all three of them sold million plus. I mean, they sold million plus. I mean, they sold tons and tons of cartridges. So
Wow.
he was responsible for making Yard's Revenge. He did Indiana Jones. He got to like plug. He got to work with Steven Spielberg, and like he had an idea for a
Wow.
game. Yeah, and then E.T. So the book is about his. He is constantly blamed because ET is not a very good game. It was released on the Atari 2600, and ET they gave him like they were trying to meet a deadline for Christmas, and they said, hey Howard, can you do this game in like 4 months? And back then, games would take like 2 years, like a year and a half to make, so they'd have to
Mhm.
program them all and design them. And he's like, yes, I can. Just being Howard. He's like, I can do it. So yeah, so the book is about his, talking about like ET, talking about his time, his time at Atari. Atari was a very, very, video games at that time were new. They were really new it was a new entertainment, and he was at the cusp of this new thing, this new method of entertainment called video games, and being able to like be creative and create these games. And so the book is cool. The book is really good. It goes into Atari, but it also goes into just he anybody kind of I kind of like my journey at Notre Dame, trying to looking into like project management, and like he had an interest in doing gaming, doing something new. So like this goes to show you, it's like if you have an interest in something and then like taking that interest and going further with it, and you never know what you can do with it. So it's a great book. It's a fun read. It's on Amazon, and I highly recommend everybody check it out.
Nice. And what's one thing on your bucket list right now?
So I think I've done a couple of them already. I feel so. We'll just talk about that. So speaking of Howard, I've been able to talk to him. I actually interviewed him for my event, my original Galagathon event. I sat
Wow.
down. Yeah, I sat down and wrote down a list of names. I wrote down a list of like, okay, here's all my friends, and here's all like you just said, bucket list. Like who could I, if I could get in a room to be able to talk to him, who would that be? And so I wrote like Nolan Bush. I wrote down like the maker of Mario. Like that's not going to happen. I wrote down these crazy names, and I had Nolan Bushnell written down because he was the founder of Atari. One of the founders. There was actually two others that helped found Atari. So Nolan Bushnell and Howard Scott, and I thought I'll never get them. There's not a chance. So I reached out to other friends of a friends of a friends. I was like, hey, I'm doing this event, and I actually got Nolan Bushnell's wife's email address. And I reached out to her and I said, "Hey, would Nolan be down for like an interview? I'm doing this. I'm raising money for kids. Would you think he'd be willing to come on and talk?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, he'd be able to come on for 15 minutes to talk to you." I was like, "Oh my god, no way!"
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, "No way! I'm gonna talk to Nolan Bushnell for 15 minutes." I was like, "Whew, that's gonna be neat. That's gonna be really cool." And then Howard Scott, I just Googled him, and I said, "Hey, I'm doing this event. Would you be able to give an interview?" He's like, "Yeah, absolutely." I was like, "Wow, that's
Wow.
really." So you don't know unless you ask. You just don't know
Yeah.
until you find a way, and then you ask and see what they say. So
Well, that sounds like that same spirit of giving back. I mean, these are guys who probably don't have to give any of us the time of day, and yet here they are helping you out and helping out
yeah,
Riley in the process. And you know,
Yeah.
yeah. So talking to Nolan was really, it was cool. I got on a Zoom with him, and it was funny because he was in his basement with like, he's known for tinkering with things. And so like when I got on a call with him, he didn't have a suit and tie on or a polo shirt. No, it's him. He had a shirt on in his basement with all these electronics behind him. I was like, that's so cool.
Wow.
That's so cool. And then Howard Scott Warshaw, he is in Silicon Valley, he's a therapist. Since he's no longer doing games or programming games anymore. Now he's more of like a therapist. So he was in his office when I got to talk to him, and so in his background. So um, they were very kind with their time. So yes, and then I would say that the final bucket list, I am playing in that tournament was a huge bucket list item. I always wanted to play in a big tournament. I didn't know if I could do it, and I did it. And now it's like I tell anybody that asks me about it, I was like, man, I don't know what they spent, hosting the tournament, because they flew in me and 8 other people from all over the world. So I don't think I'll ever see a tournament like that ever again. But you never say never about anything. But it was pretty special. It was pretty special. So those are probably like the three bucket list items I've been able to do, and I'm so lucky and fortunate to have done them. So
Yeah, that's awesome. And kudos to you for following through with what you want to do,
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
very cool to see. And lastly, what is the last TV show that you binge watched?
So here at home, we really got into the Squid Game,
Ah, yes.
Squid Game.
Yeah.
We got into that. The first two seasons. I think I kind of got into this show like late, and we signed up for Netflix and started watching it. And I started getting into season one, and then season two came out, and it was just like edge of your seat. And I really enjoyed. We really enjoyed it. It was. I thought the season three just came out. I didn't like the ending, but after I sat down and like ending, I did not like the end how it ended. I
Yeah.
won't spoil it here for anyone,
No
but it was
spoilers. No
no, we don't do
spoilers.
spoilers here. But I was after I sat down and had some time to like digest it, and my wife, her and I talked about it. I was like, wow, yeah, that's really it really ended on a really it made you think. It made you think about not only like the third season, but it made you like think about back to the beginning of the show. And like I felt like it had a I mean, yeah, it just made me. It was really one. It's one of those things where like it made you think, like think about things. So, yeah, I really liked it. So that's the last one I watched.
All right, folks, are you guys ready for Did You Know Tech Edition? As a quick
Yes.
reminder,
Did
this
I
is
know
where
Tech Edition?
I
Uh-oh.
quiz the hosts and the guests about random tech facts that you may not need to know that you needed.
Uh-oh.
This is where we can find out if somebody needs a little more screen time or they're extra tech savvy. And I will say, Mark, today you are going to have the advantage a little bit. And Deanna, you're probably going to have the biggest disadvantage in this,
Oh,
but we're going to see
no.
what happens.
Okay.
Mark, you mentioned ET coming out in 1981. There was also a
82.
big craze.
82.
Okay. All right, 82. So in 1981, however, there was a big craze that helped start the competitive high score arcade competitions that you previously talked about. So the question is, which 1981 game helped start the competitive high craze arcade score in the United States? Is it A, Pac-Man? Is it B, Donkey Kong? Or is it C, Defender?
Now I will say this. Before that, there was if you look at history, and because I know I've looked up a little bit, like video game competitions were happening in the 70s too. They were happening, but like if you're talking like what really put gaming on the map, right? Where it was games back then were seen as like just males played it, right? They went to an arcade. Arcades were scary places to go. They weren't like the happy places we find now, like Chuck E. Cheese or anything. Like they were like dark places where like not the greatest locale would actually hang out. So I know the answer, but I'll
Yeah, let us.
let you guys think about it. I know the answer though.
Oh, I'm sure he does. And I've played all three of these games. I mean, yeah, you're hitting the sweet spot. You're hitting the Gen X age right here.
Oh, gosh.
Um,
I was trying to see if I could see something in Mark's face that told me what the answer was.
I'm
But
really
no.
interested in his answer because based on what he said, he's very confident that he has the right answer.
yeah.
Yeah.
So say it was Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, and Defender, and we're trying to
Correct.
figure out which one started a high score craze.
Yep, the competitive high score arcade craze in the US.
Donkey Kong.
Okay, Scooter's going with Donkey Kong.
I will go with Defender.
Deanna, Defender.
I am
Mark?
I am also going to say Defender, and here's why. I'm going to say
Okay,
Defender.
nice.
I am not going to say Pac-Man. So like Defender was like, that really got Defender is a really hard game with a lot of buttons. And I don't like it. I just say when I go to the arcade. Nobody plays it. No, I don't think to this day. No, yeah. So I would say that the if you're thinking about like 1980s like Defender, I would say like Defender. All three games were being competitive. Let me put this way. All three games were competitive back then. Donkey Kong, they still have the Kong off. There's Just this past weekend, Australia had their Kong off. They have where they play and compete on these games. So they're still competitive back then and today, but I think Defender was like really got things going. But I'm probably wrong. So
See,
we'll see.
Defender it was so hard. It was just like eating quarters. It was like, I'll put a quarter in, I'm gonna play, and I'm done. Right?
Yeah, I just
So,
yeah.
there was that's no fun. Oh, I'm shooting things. I'm done.
Yeah, there was a
Just like,
game.
no.
There was a game called Chopper Command made by Activision,
Yes.
and it was on the 2600. And that game is very, very much where you had to like fly around, and you got like these little people at the bottom, these little vans, and you had to like make sure they didn't get bombed on. That game was hard. So like Defender, but that was like one button joystick left and right. And then like Defender was like, okay, to go left and right were actually buttons, not a joystick, if I remember correctly. Very, very tough game. So that's my answer. Hope I'm right. Probably not. It's probably Pac-Man, but we'll see.
All right, all answers are locked in, but Mark, I want to see if I can give you a little more context to see if this changes your answer or you could kind of dive in a little bit more.
Okay.
So if I say Twin Galaxies and the name Billy Mitchell and Steve Wiebe,
Oh yeah.
does that change anything for you?
Oh yeah, it's Donkey Kong. Yeah, yeah.
Correct answer is Donkey Kong. That is correct. Yes.
Yeah, it's Donkey Kong.
I'm back.
Scooter with the point
I
there.
missed
There you go.
points the last like 3 shows, I think. So
Yeah, no,
Well, I had a very
nice
high
explanation.
disadvantage there.
You did, and I kind of warned you that at the beginning, but I
you
like
still
to
don't get the
tailor the
point.
questions to the guests. so.
Yeah, it's okay.
Well, nice job. So Scooter, that does, I believe, put you back in the lead
Woo.
with an extra point
Yay.
there. Deanna, you're still sitting at 1 point, although you did get one as a guest, and then the guests are sitting at 2 points. So Scooter, you're ahead with now 4.
Excellent. All right. Well, hey, Mark, thanks so much for being with us. It's been a real pleasure chatting with you.
Yeah,
thanks
you.
thanks for having me on, and thank you for having this podcast. I think it's what you guys are doing with having consultants on and having other folks on talk about technology. It's great. So
Wonderful.
kudos to you guys as well. So thank you.
We're having a
Thank
great
you.
time. So we hope it's helpful.
If you've got someone you'd like us to interview, just email those ideas to btspodcast@nd.edu. If there's anything else new, exciting, frustrating, or inspiring happening in your IT consultancy world, please share that with us too. We'd love to hear your insights and ideas.
Next time, we'll speak with Clay Berkeley and Gwen Haggy-Shirk, 2 senior IT solutions specialists for Engineering and Science Computing Administration. Until then, thank you for listening.
Thanks, everyone.
Signing off from behind the screens, IT at ND.
Stay tech savvy, Notre Dame.